Alright, hello family and friends of the Quag Wildlife Refuge. Welcome to our very last nature news session. We hope everybody enjoyed this series of flora and fauna education from all of the staff members. It's been a lot of fun. We figured today would be a great way to end it in a way of getting to actually know your educators a little more personally. So each one of us are going to share something that inspired us to come to this field. Hi, Stacy. And also maybe our background of areas of study, and maybe inspire some of you, whoever might be looking into a field to go into later on, as to maybe what areas of nature you can find a way to get into. And there's many different avenues we'll share today, hopefully. So tune in, everybody. We have 4 educators in total that are going to come and share not only themselves but a cool animal that's going to be with them today. So a little nature education 101 with our super teacher. So my name is Mr. Tony Valderrama. I'm very honored and happy to be able to share environmental education and art for the last 10 years. I just celebrated my 10th year anniversary this past April. It's been an amazing journey, being able to share something I'm very passionate about, which is the environment. I always loved animals and art and education all into one. So my early beginnings, very humble beginnings, started when, actually generationally, my grandma was known as the bird lady of New York City. She'd run around feeding all kinds of pigeons and birds and rescued animals, cats and dogs, and we would go out to the city and visit her. And that's where I think a love of animals started. So my grandma was one of those inspirational people who would have us go out there and feed the animals with her and realize how important even the wildlife in the city was. My mom took on that same gene and she started rescuing all types of animals. We lived in a house with probably 100 animals at a time of different rescued creatures, whether there were dogs, cats, frogs, fish, ferrets, even a pig one day. It was a very exciting house to live in. But I realized that was part of my my roots. And when I went to school, I realized I had a talent for art, but I wanted to share it with others, so I went for art education. And through that time, I realized that art by itself wasn't just something that should be just shared as a beautiful picture and that's it. I realized it had to have a voice, and nature was the voice that needed to be shared. So I started doing environmental art, and that brought me into doing different installations across Long Island and other places, highlighting different issues like endangered species and deforestation. And one day that led me into this beautiful place where a friend of mine just down the street said, you have to take your family to the Quag Wildlife Refuge. I said, what's the Quag Wildlife Refuge? He said, it's a beautiful place. It's kind of hidden secret or a family heirloom. And that's what this place is. And when I drove down, I immediately fell in love. I walked through the gates and I met a beautiful bird that you've met on this program before named Hooter. He was right in the cage. And he literally started talking, and I said, one day I'd love to work with you. And when I looked at those beautiful golden eyes, I said, if I could just work with you in some way. I always wanted to work with birds of prey. I'd be the happiest guy on the planet. And on the way out that day from visiting, I saw a sign that said, environmental educator needed. And lo and behold, 10 years later, here I am still working with these animals and getting to train with them. And they teach me a lesson every single day. Every day that I'm here at the refuge, it's not the same. You look around behind me and it's a beautiful vista, but every season it's gorgeous. So I encourage people to come down here every season and learn as you go. So someone's asking me right now, what am I holding in my hand? I have one of my friends today called the ball python. Very good, Tracy. You are 100% right. He's a very sweet ball python. Everyone say hello to Monty Python. Very good. He lives with his lady friend, Blondie. And this is one of the smallest pythons out there. Just about 3 to 4 feet they grow. But ball pythons are from Africa originally, and they're called ball pythons because of that special defense system where if they get scared, they ball their bodies up and they hide their head right inside that body so they don't get injured. And they're very docile, beautiful docile creatures. But what I want you to take a look at, here's a little bit of art and nature together. Look at the beautiful patterns on Monty's body. Some of them kind of look like alien faces, right, with eyes. It would help him be protected from a creature where they think, oh, he's looking back at me. So he has this camouflage with beautiful patterns. So I look at artwork, and I see a lot of patterns of animals, especially African pattern animals within artwork nowadays. If you see one of these crawling around Long Island, let us know. They're a popular pet but they should not be around here. They're non-native. Once again, they're from Africa. He's trying to kiss everybody and say, thanks for watching the last session of Nature News here. And as we know, these snakes do smell with their tongues, right? Good things that humans don't do that. And they also are very flexible. You're going to meet a lot of cool snakes this year as you walk the refuge, hopefully. Just make sure not to step on any. All right, well, it was great sharing a little bit of myself as an environmental educator and artist. We're going to meet our next environmental, or I should say, staff member here at the refuge that does an amazing and awesome job to keep this place going.
Thank you, Tony. All right, so my name is Kim, and I'm sure you guys have seen me in previous episodes of QWR Nature News, and I'm here with Checkers the corn snake today. So my journey to Quag Wildlife Refuge is kind of regular. I saw an ad in the paper, I was a student at Stony Brook, and I studied anthropology back in the day. And when I was a student there, I was an intern at the Turkana Basin Institute, which is another nonprofit organization. And I think it was at that time that I realized how important it was to me to do something that contributes to the betterment of the world in one way or another. So they fund archaeological research in Africa, but the Quag Wildlife Refuge also does a lot for the world and for the community as a whole. So I think it's really gratifying to work in a place where you know that you are helping people in one way or another. So what I love about here is that everyone, no matter what age you are, what race you are, how much money you make, everyone can come visit the Quag Wildlife Refuge for free. And so no matter what I do in a day, most of the time I work in the office here at the refuge, but even when I am doing things like mailing letters, I know that everything that I do is really going towards making this place the best it can be. And I think even though my technical position here is administrative assistant / benefit coordinator, when you work in a place like this with such a small staff, you wind up doing a crazy number of different things, like educating people on Facebook Live. And so I think it just goes to show that no matter what you do in college or what you do in high school, there's always a different path waiting for you if you choose it. And places like this exist all over the world, and all it takes is just reaching out to get involved. And so if you do love the refuge, we always say one thing you can do is to volunteer here. We always need volunteers to come help out. And yeah, here's Checkers. But thank you guys so much for joining us for all of these QWR Nature News episodes. It has been a true pleasure, and we're so glad that you made it. So, oh yes.
How are the big tortoises doing there? I know they're one of your favorite
Oh, I do love the tortoises. So they're actually doing very well. Right now, it does get pretty hot in the greenhouse this time of year, so we have the doors open. So if you come and visit now, you can see the tortoises in the greenhouse. And soon, when it gets really hot, we'll bring them to their outdoor enclosure. But they're doing very, very well, and they miss all of their visitors. But they do love us when we come in and give them watermelon. Yeah. So, pro tip. And now I'm going to introduce you guys to Renee.
All right, hello everybody. So just like Kim, you're probably familiar with me. My name is Renee, and I am here with Crypto, our bearded dragon. He's our oldest bearded dragon. He's our little old man, Crypto. But I am the animal care coordinator and an environmental educator here at the Quag Wildlife Refuge. And I have been here actually since 2007. So I've been here for a very long time, and I started at the refuge when I was graduating high school, and I have always known that I had this connection to animals. I always felt as though I wanted to do something working with animals, but I wasn't really sure exactly what. So when I graduated high school, I actually came to the refuge and was looking for a position, but unfortunately there weren't any available, so I started as a volunteer, and just within a couple weeks I got taken on as a staff member, and I would work here at the Refuge during the summers and during an occasional winter as I was going to school in Brockport. And I was going to the University of Brockport, and I wasn't exactly sure, and I find I work with a lot of our interns here, and I find that a lot of us don't exactly know what path to take to get to what we want to do and where we want to be. So I do talk a lot to our interns about different routes you can go and different ways you can get into this field, because it's so broad and there's so much you can do for people and for the animals. So I started as a biology major, thinking maybe I'd go get something simple for undergrad and maybe become a veterinarian or something of the sort. But I discovered in my sophomore year, our environmental science program, and it was just like what I was doing at the Refuge, and I loved it. So I switched my major over to environmental science. And when I graduated, I was so fortunate to get taken on here full time. But even then, I wasn't sure if this was something that I was going to do forever. So I know myself and a lot of the other educators have taken lots of classwork and courses outside of the Refuge. There's so many ways you can learn. A lot of us are licensed wildlife rehabilitators. It's very loud here at the Refuge sometimes. We've taken nature storytelling classes and classes on animal tracking and signing, all sorts of different things. There's lots of ways to learn. There's so many different outlets to learn. So we've expanded our knowledge, I know, as educators, a lot of other ways as well. I even worked on an elephant sanctuary in Arkansas for a while to see if I wanted to work with more exotic animals, but I was always pulled back to the Refuge because, like Kim was saying, we get to do so many different things here, and I really enjoy that. We reach so many different people, so many different types of people, and I really love that about the Refuge. I also have really grown here. The Refuge is like a home to me. I've been here for 13 years. That's a long, long time. I was 17 when I started, so I really, really grew up here. So the Refuge has a very special place in my heart. I even got married here, and Melon, I should have brought Melon really to meet you guys, because Melon was actually my flower girl. So the Refuge, I think, to all of us, we've met our best friends here. Like, it's so important, and we hope that when you come and visit us, you feel that connection as well. We want everyone to feel how special this place is. And Crypto does. So Crypto's lived here his whole life. Our old man, bearded dragon, he is about 12 to 13 years old. So he's been here for his whole life. And he has a family here too. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to pass you over to Cara.
Okay. So, hi everybody, my name is Cara. I work here at the Refuge as an educator, and the train's gonna come by, but I'll keep talking. So, So, well, welcome. This is, I bet all of you guys know what kind of animal this is. This is our eastern box turtle, and yes, I think the train just went by. I think we're good. But my name is Cara, like I was saying before. I work here as an educator and program coordinator for the Refuge. And I'm excited just to share a little bit about my background. I went to SUNY Stony Brook for my undergrad, and like a lot of us, I think it's hard to know exactly what you want to do. But I knew that I always loved animals. I loved being out in nature. I used to go on a lot of hikes with my family when I was growing up. So I just kind of learned that that was what I wanted to do in my career. And after taking a lot of different classes, I became passionate about the environment even more. So my undergrad was in environmental studies with a concentration in ecology and marine science. And one of my favorite things to do here at the Refuge is teach with our animals. And you can see this is our box turtle. He's one of our native species, and I find it really rewarding to teach with our native species because a lot of people either don't know that we have them on Long Island or don't know that they can't be kept as pets. So unfortunately, this turtle was illegally taken from the wild and kept as a pet. And that's a part of his story that we teach with now. So hopefully when we teach with these animals, people start to learn that there are better ways that we can help our environment, especially by leaving all native animals wild. But here at the Refuge, just like all of our educators were saying, we love, learning about new things. I think one of the best things about working here at the Refuge is that every day is different, every season is different. We get to do so many different things in a season, and it kind of correlates to like the winter time when there's snow on the ground. We get to go out and use the cross-country skis. So there's so much that this field can offer to people, even if it's just your hobby. So I know that even though I went to school for environmental studies, I never got into birding until I started working here at the Refuge. So now I'm really into bird watching, and especially on our lunch breaks we get to look at that view. So there's so many things that you can do, and we're just grateful that everyone has been tuning into QWR Nature News. This is our last nature news, but we did want to mention that if anyone has a topic that they want to learn about, we can put those on a schedule. Maybe we can do those in the fall when it's a little less busy here at the Refuge. And I do see a question. Are you still open 11 to 4 on the weekends? We are actually open daily from sunrise to sunset. So you can come and visit the trails in the outside animal complex from sunrise to sunset every day of the year. And our 11 to 4 hours are for our nature center. And that building is closed right now due to COVID-19, but you can still come and hike the trails. We'll let everyone know when the nature center and the restrooms are open. And you can wear a mask, absolutely, especially if you can't maintain social distancing. So that was a great question. But again, thank you all for tuning in to QWR Nature News. We have lots of different programs on our website that you can tune into. Some of them are virtual, on Zoom. Some of them are socially distant paddles, and those are all on our event calendar. But also we have summer camps coming up next week, and we still have room in our summer camps for certain age groups. Some of them are full because the New York State Health Department has mandated a 10 camper limit. But you can check our website for more information on the camps. You can call us with any questions. And we just want to again say thank you so much for your support. The Refuge runs off of all of the donations from the community, from the membership that you all do. So thank you again from the bottom of our hearts, from all of our animals. We really appreciate it here at the Refuge, and it really is a place, I think, for the community. We want to do things for the people who visit, and it's a place for you guys. So thank you all, and again, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, you can call us, you can email us. But thank you again for tuning in to QWR Nature News. It really means the world to us. We didn't know what to expect when we started, and it really turned into something great. So thank you. Bye, guys.